It's been almost 2 years and apparently I'm still talking about it. A little less than 2 years ago I hiked the Kungsleden. And if you didn't see my videos of the Kungsleden and you want to hike the Kungsleden, I made some videos about it. I will link them in this video or in the description down below. I made a video about my top 11 tips for the Kungsleden, and I made a gear list video of the Kungsleden, which is kind of an old gear list, so maybe my new gear list of the GR20 and the Tour du Mont Blanc is a little better and more updated, but I mean, you can still watch it. It's still up here in the cloud of the internet. So, if you don't know about the Kungsleden is a long distance trail that is 440 kilometers long, and it goes through Swedish Lapland, which is the northern part of Sweden. When I tell people that I hiked it and I did 440 kilometers, the reaction I mostly get is, that is crazy. 440 kilometers, I'm never gonna do that. If you're one of those people, don't worry, I've got some good news for you, because you can section hike the Kungsleden, which means you can hike one part of the Kungsleden that is shorter than the whole Kungsleden. So roughly the Kungsleden can be divided into 4 stages. So you have Hemavan, which is the southern terminal of the Kungsleden, to Amarnes. Then you have Amarnes to Kvikkjokk. Kvikkjokk is more or less the middle point of the Kungsleden. Then you have Kvikkjokk to Saltoluokta, and you have Vakkutavaare to Abisko. Swedish people, how is my accent? Not well, right? But I'm trying. I do my best, okay? So in this video I will go over all the different typical features of each stage, so that if you want to section hike it, you can decide which stage you want to do after watching this video. So the first section, if you start in the south, Hemavan to Amarnes. And this section is 78 kilometers long, or for the American people out there, 49 miles. So this part starts really open in a beautiful valley, and then after this valley you have some forest section, and then you have 2 peaks, and these peaks are in open territory fields as well. This section is not crowded, at least when I went in 2018. You don't have to take any boats, so if you're scared of boats or you don't want to spend money on motorboats, take this section. And in my opinion, I think this section had the friendliest hosts in the huts. The hosts were always really nice, they talked to me. Also the hikers in the huts were super open. I had the best conversations with other hikers on this stretch. I don't really know if it's typical for this stretch, but it's my experience. Also, and now I have to pronounce it right, it's a hard name for me. In Tanahre, I had, in my opinion, the best sauna on the whole Kungsleden. It's a really basic sauna, like it's not fancy or anything or beautiful, but it was the warmest, like really hot sauna. Sometimes a sauna can be just like on the surface of your skin, but there it really went to the core. Really nice. And the sauna is located next to a lake, so when you come out of the sauna you can just take a quick dip into the lake. Really nice. So this section is open, some bridges, you also have a lot of bridges on this section. Then you have forest, and then you have the 2 peaks, which is open again. Friendly hosts, and there's not a lot of people on this stretch, and no boats. The second section of the Kungsleden, if you start in the south, is from Amarnes to Kvikkjokk. And on this stretch you will have to take your first boats. So there is 1 rowing boat on this stretch and 2 motorboats. The first motorboat when I went was 350 Swedish crowns, which is a lot, and the second boat was 200 Swedish crowns. Also on this section you will cross the Arctic Circle, just a nice detail. But I think the biggest and the most important feature on this stretch is that there are no huts between Jektvik and Kvikkjokk. So that means that you have to carry all your food from Jektvik to Kvikjok because there are no shops in between. That means if it rains, you're just out in the rain, there is no shelter. This means just, yeah, you're alone on a trail. I really liked it. So if you want to have the biggest feeling of survival, do this stretch. It's still not a lot. I think there's like 90 to 100 kilometers between Jekvik and Kvikjok. On the PCT, this is just normal that you cannot resupply for 3 to 5 to even more days. Totally normal. But on the Kungsleden, it's not so normal. And if you want to do this, this is the section for you. The section goes through some woods, a lot of woods actually, with a couple of mountains, and when you get to the top of a mountain, there are no woods. So on the top of the mountains, there mostly aren't any woods. Voila! Also, Jekvik has a really nice shop. It's really big, so don't be scared that you cannot resupply at Jekvik because it is really possible. So, second section, Amornes to Kvikjok. Not a lot of people, like really not a lot of people. Totally alone. There are no huts between Jekvik and Kvikjok, and you have to take your first boats. Then you have the third stage of the Kungsleden, and this is above the middle point of the Kungsleden, and this is where the trail gets a bit more crowded. So the next stage is from Kvikjok to Saltoluokta, and it is 73 kilometers long. That is 45 miles. This is the shortest section of them all, and a really pretty one. I went there at the end of August, and the colors of the landscapes already were changing into beautiful reds and yellows and oranges. Really nice. You also have a beautiful lake with beautiful reflections between Kvikjok and Parte. So it is a really scenic part of the Kungsleden. But as I said before, there are more people on this section. It's not a lot. I mean, if you compare this with the GR20 or the Tour du Mont Blanc, this is nothing. But on the Kungsleden, compared to the southern part of the Kungsleden, it is more people. There is also a beautiful detour on this section, and that is the Detour of Ski, which is a mountain that looks out over the Rappadalen, which is a beautiful valley. Look it up if you want to look it up, or don't look it up and just go there and be surprised by its beauty. And on this section you will have to take 2 boats. One of them is a motorboat that costs 300 Swedish crowns. It is a lot, I know. The second one is also a motorboat that costs 200 Swedish crowns, but on the second one you have the option of taking a rowing boat. But it is a long section, so... So the third section from Kvikjok to Saltoluokta is the shortest stretch of the Kungsleden. It is more scenic, but not the most scenic of them all. You can take a beautiful detour to Skierfe. Please do it. There are more people on this trail compared to the south, but not a lot in total, but more people. And you will have to take 2 boats. And then we've come to the last section, which is the section of Vakutavare to Abisko. Now, you will maybe think, the last section stopped in Saltoluokta and now you're starting from Vakutavare. What is going on here? There is a long lake and road between these 2 places. So what most people do when they do the Kungsleden is take a boat and a bus to Vakutavare. It is normal, a lot of people do it, and you don't cut off any of the 440 kilometers of the Kungsleden because the kilometers between Saltoluokta and Vakutavare are not counted into these 440 kilometers. So the last section is Vakutavare to Abisko. It is 110 kilometers long, and that is 68 miles. This section is best known to be the most scenic section of the Kungsleden. It is more open with a lot of valleys, open mountains, not a lot of trees, not a lot of woods. So you can see really far, and like the landscapes are more drama. On this section you will cross the highest point of the Kungsleden, which is Chekcha Pass. The paths are really well maintained. I mean, that's on the whole Kungsleden, the paths are really well maintained, but on this part especially, really well maintained, a lot of wooden boardwalks, and there are a lot of camping spots. And that is because this section is by far the busiest section of the Kungsleden. I would really recommend, if you want to hike this section of the Kungsleden, to hike it from south to north, because otherwise you will be probably in a stream of people that is hiking this section. On this section you can also take a detour to Kebnekaise. I think it's the highest mountain of Sweden. I didn't do it because my knee was really hurting when I was passing the detour to Kebnekaise, so I cannot really tell you a lot about it, but I think if you're in good shape and you pass the detour, for sure, do it. Also, look up the dates of the Fjällräven Classic. This is an event that happens every year, and basically it's just thousands of people that are hiking from Kebnekaise to Abisko. So if you don't want to be in a stream of thousands of people, maybe look up the dates of the Fjällräven Classic and avoid going at this time. I also found that the hosts in these huts were the least friendly of them all on the Kungsleden. I think it's because they encounter a lot of people who are beginner hikers, and I mean, it's totally fine if you are a beginner hiker. I was a beginner hiker at one point, but I mean, they encounter a lot of beginner hikers who leave a lot of trash and don't really know about the leave no trace rules and are just not really respectful of nature. I think it's because of that. It's my theory. Do with it whatever you want, but it's my theory. So the last stretch of the Kungsleden is Vakkatavari to Abisko. It is the busiest section of them all, but also the most scenic. You have the option of climbing the highest mountain of Sweden, which is Kebnekaise. There are a lot of well-maintained paths and a lot of camping spots. And every year there is the Fjällräven Classic, so look up when this is and avoid going at this time. That's everything. Yeah, if you have some more questions on the Kungsleden, first watch my other videos of the Kungsleden, because maybe I already answered this question. If I didn't, leave a comment down below. I will try to answer your questions. Voila! If you like this video, and maybe if you like all my content, consider liking this video and or subscribing to my channel. It helps me out a lot. I hope you're all doing fine. I hope you're all healthy. We'll totally be fine, and hopefully these times pass and we can all go on a hike this summer. Bye bye!